Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, September 6, 2017. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Minister of Economic Planning and Telecommunications, Camila Gonzalez, says a more serious conversation needs to be had on the issue of domestic violence. In a recent interview with SVG-TV News, the Member of Parliament for East St. George made it clear that he does not want the issue to be just about one individual or another, but about the interconnected facets that contribute to domestic violence. Minister Gonzalez said that the issue should not only come up to score political points.
The Democratic Party, as of prior to the last election, was clothing itself in this cloak of respect for women. They had a women's conference or a women's town hall where they made a number of comments with which I agree about respect for women and taking very strong stances on the need for women to be respected and not be abused. And I think that those positions enunciated by the New Democratic Party just a couple short years ago should not now be sacrificed on the altar of political expediency. And again, that's not a comment in any way on Colin, because I know nothing about his situation and I wouldn't speak in the media about something I don't know about.
Founder and president of Leave Out Violence in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Nyla John Prince, says politicians need to be more serious about the issue of domestic violence and abuse. In a recent interview with SVG-TV News, John Prince says the issue should not be just the hot topic of the day, but should be something that needs to be addressed.
And to the parliamentarians and the politicians of that nation, come together now. This issue is a serious issue. We cannot just sit back. You are the people that put laws in place and have those laws enforced. So it's time that we truly speak out. Don't just speak when it's a person of political interest. This is not about politics. This is about our country. This is about a nation that I grew up in, that my father brought me to as a young girl. And I love the nation terribly, and I love the people terribly.
She also appeals to the general public to be more sensitive about what they say, particularly when people have been abused or are trying to rehabilitate as an abuser.
I would like to tell the Vincentian populace that I stand very strong against domestic violence, rape, molestation, sexual assault, child abuse. We must come together on this issue. We've had too many people die. We've had too many women being abused, raped, molested, sexually assaulted. This is a serious issue. Stop bringing politics into this matter. This is an issue, a social issue. And I'm asking everyone to stop and think before you speak. Stop and think before you write anything on social media.
And the Gender Affairs Division issued a call today for a stronger stand against the rise in gender-related killings in the country. The division's director, Polly Oliver, in a statement today, called for all and sundry to respond to violence of all sorts by saying no to violence. According to Oliver, violence prevention and response must be acknowledged as equally important and a shared responsibility among individuals, families, communities, and the state. To this end, Oliver in the statement said it is essential that there be a transformation of perception, attitudes, and behaviors which promote and justify violence in private and public institutions. The Gender Affairs Division issues a call for persons to seek professional help in light of their problems. Persons are asked to contact the ministry at telephone numbers 1-784-453-2061 or 456-2948 or 61111 extension 395 or 396. With the recent cases of domestic violence against women here, SVG-TV News team took to the streets of capital Kingstown to get the views of some members of the public on how they feel about the troubling issue and what measures can be implemented to put a stop to it.
Violence in any form, especially domestic violence, is wrong and it should not be happening. And until people are severely punished for it, and until we have some sort of awareness out there some sort of campaign denouncing it, I don't really think that it will change.
Domestic violence is domestic violence. People fight, kill the one another, chop up the one another, but you got to get people to understand that there's more to life than chopping up another person. That there's a God who's in control of all of us. And if you live a life in the light of God, you would carry yourself through life much better. But when you got people who are angry at the slightest thing, and you got governments in the Caribbean that are dividing its people, trying to rule them, and then putting them in situations where you can only resort to domestic violence, and then they don't want to do nothing about it.
Plain to the court, the judges, the magistrates, to hand down the penalty that is of the highest order in court to these people. Because you want to tell me somebody commit a crime and they're like that against a woman, and they're just getting like, oh, 1 year in prison or 6 months in prison for stabbing a woman? No, it should not be.
Well, what I will have to say, it's time enough for the people back hanging in service and the because it's over the thing in service now. People have it as a joke. You think it's starting people like animals. And that's wrong, especially women.
You see right now, it's love you're supposed to deal with. Love and unity, no violence, not all. We have to live together and have unity, blessing, love. Love we want in the country. Once we get love, things go good. You understand? Keep out the violence and let's how we live love together.
The opposition New Democratic Party, in a statement issued earlier today, expressed alarm over the recent killing of Simona De Silva of Fairhall in an incident which has raised public debate on gang violence. De Silva's death brought the country's homicide count to 24 for the year thus far. According to the police, the 23-year-old sustained stab wounds about her body in the wee hours of Monday morning outside her home in Fairhall. She was taken to the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital where she succumbed to her injuries. In the NDP statement, the party expressed condolences to the family and friends of Simona, noting that it is never easy to lose a loved one, especially in such tragic circumstances. The NDP called on the police to investigate the matter quickly and to bring all those involved to justice, and urge anyone who has information that might assist the police in their investigation to cooperate with the investigators. The party further called on various organizations that serve young people to take this tragic event as a call to action to prevent other such tragedy. Earlier today, 3 teenage girls were jointly charged with the murder of Simona De Silva. They are 19-year-old Tonesia Oliver, unemployed of Chapman's, 19-year-old Alana Hudson, secretary of Camden Park, and 18-year-old Taylor Mofford, unemployed of Belmont. The accused females appeared at the serious offences court today and were remanded in custody until the next court hearing on December 7th, 2017. The Pentecostal Assemblies of the West Indies will be hosting a mini-regional conference here tomorrow at Hotel Alexandrina. According to Dr. George Frederick, leading men from the region will be involved in a conference which will be held under the theme, Men Knowing Their Purpose. Dr. Frederick said the main objective of the conference is to find out what are the issues facing men in the region and what can be done to address these issues. On Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., Dr. Frederick said a number of local men will come together to discuss concerns of the nation under the theme, Men Sent from God.
It's leading men from the islands coming together. We want to brainstorm and understand what's happening with the men in those islands and what are some of the things that are taking place, how we plan to address them, how we could charter a way forward to helping the situation. But locally here, on Saturday morning, we have a men's symposium at Faith Temple starting at 8:30. Well, it has a cost because it has meals and other things involved. But what is most important, we help men, it's captured men sent from God. We are seeking to help men to understand that we didn't just drop here. We didn't just come here fly by night. We were sent with a mission, and men need to understand what that mission is, because Sharon, when that mission is not understood, men can do crazy things. They're like lions that are let loose. So we are seeking to really find that avenue. That's what the conference is about.
According to Dr. Frederick, men need to find their purpose and learn to control their anger.
As we supposed to protecting the environment and protecting the women in our lives and our children, not being the intimidators and the abusers. Somewhere along the line, somebody's lost a screw. And I'm saying, us gentlemen, we have reneged on our responsibility in school, and a lot of our people who are not, academically and mentally competent to handle situations, when they can't deal with the frustration, then they resort to what the baser instinct to lash out. We're not saying that every problem is because of a man's mental lack, but when a man understands who he is, why he's here, the sense of purpose, and that man is on a mission, he has no time to be going around beating up women and beating up people around the place. He knows that he's been sent as an agent from God, and not that God is necessarily giving more credence to male than to female, because male and female made he both them, but he has places there to be protectors, providers, and also to be priests in the family.
Lawyer K. Bacchus Batiste has been elected unopposed by the opposition New Democratic Party West St. George Division to represent the party in that constituency. This after the resignation of Dr. Jules Ferdinand, who indicated to SVG-TV News recently that given his schedule as an educator serving in Trinidad and Tobago, he would not be able to serve the party to the best of his abilities and prefers to step aside. In an interview earlier today with SVG-TV News, Bacchus Batiste said, "Getting involved in active politics is part of her lifelong call to do more for the people of SVG." Bacchus Batiste said her message is one of hope and puts an end to what she described as the ruling Unity Labour Party's political tribalism.
But it seems as if this is what God wants for me now, that this is a time. Our country is in crisis, and I want to bring a new message of hope for Vincentians. I feel that too many of us spend our day just being trapped under this oppression from the government. People are living in fear. I don't care whether you're NDP or ULP. ULP persons are living in fear too. They cannot get out of line or something will be taken away from them. And I do not think that is how our country should be run. I think we should recognize that we are all one family under God. And that is what God wants for us. That we should be free, we should be happy, we should not be living under oppression. And I think that is the reason why there's so much crime in the country. There's too much fears lurk in the land, and I want to bring a message of hope. I want all Vincentians to understand that the NDP, which is what the party that I'm running for, we are saying to you, we have come to set you free. We have come to set the captives free. Let us end the oppression. Let us end the violence in the country. Let us live as one family. Let's stop the political tribalism.
The lawyer, now turned politician, said her campaign will be based on love.
There was not this deep division in the country where everything is determined by who you support politically. It has to stop. I am fed up of it, and I'm coming to bring this new message of hope to all Vincentians. Let us end that victimization. Let us not spend 90% of our time thinking about politics, which is what is happening now. Let us think now about advancing our family, ourselves. Let us think about love. Let us try and declare the victory of love. I want to declare a day of victory for love in St. Vincent. And that is the day when we get rid of this divisive ULP, and let us start with a new breath of fresh air for all Vincentians. And that's really what is driving me. That is my passion.
As it relates to what she believes are the needs of the people of West St. George, Bacchus Batiste said that infrastructural development and employment are at the top of her list.
I've been through the constituency recently, yesterday, and I think the day before, and the complaint is all about roads, all about the playing fields, but the roads, I went to Upper Ashburton, and I am amazed at the lack of road, the lack of access to many persons' homes. It seems as if the current government has forgotten about them. They have not trimmed the road, the gutter, there are no gutters, just some mud trenches. It's really, really bad. So I want to improve that. If it's nothing else, the people must have access to the roads. In the spirit of Yvonne Francis Gibson and Marcus de Freitas, who started it, but apparently it ceased. There was nothing done after that. So roads seem to be one of the main issues. The second one is employment for the youths. Get them off the streets. Something to give them some hope, something to live for, and it seems more facilities like for sporting and so forth activities. So that's it for now.
Opposition Member of Parliament for West Kingstown, Daniel Cummings, is claiming that the New Democratic Party, the NDP, is the true initiator of the education revolution. On Radio Today, Cummings refuted accusations made by Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves in Parliament that the NDP does not care about the nation's youth and education. The opposition MP said that the lands at the community college were acquired by the NDP, and they were also the first to make payment on economic costs for university students.
Territories like Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados and Jamaica, the government put some money into those in the institution there, so that persons on those countries went to university just paying the tuition fees. But persons from the OECS, St. Vincent included, to go to UE, either Jamaica, Trinidad or Barbados, you not only had to pay tuition fees, you had to pay what is called economic fees. Fees that the country is supposed to pay. And this was there for years.
Exactly.
And it is the New Democratic Party that decided that is too onerous, and decided the government will pay the economic cost for students, which was the lion's share of the cost for going to university. Exactly. So when these young people need to understand that before NDP, you couldn't dream of going to university unless your parents were big business people or had some godfather. The cost was simply prohibitive. But when NDP decided they're going to pay the economic costs, so students only had to pay the tuition costs and the living costs, that changed the whole scenario. So that was the revolution in education.
Cummings said the ruling ULP administration is given the impression that they were the ones to ensure that nurses receive allowances and other provisions. But according to him, that's not the case.
They deliberately do these things, man. And this is what makes their form of politics so disgusting. I mean, deal with the reality. If there are things to be pointed out, point them out. But why go to the extreme case of lying? You hear them all the time claiming ownership of the community college. Yes. You hear them claiming ownership of paying nurses. And all these things are such glaring lies. They have worsened the conditions under which nurses in training and operating in St. Vincent Grenadines. So they, on the NDP, not only did they get salaries, they got shoe allowance, they got increments, and they got appointed when they were trained. They were able to stay at the nurses' hostel.
The SVG Diaspora Committee of New York, Incorporated, will host its second annual St. Vincent and the Grenadines Diaspora Heritage Awards at the Friends of Crown Heights Educational Center in Brooklyn on Saturday, September 16, 2017. The event will be held in collaboration with the SVG USA Sports Association and Cultural Association of Vincentians in the USA under the theme Celebrating Vincentian Excellence. Several Vincentian legends and icons will be recognized for their outstanding contributions to Vincentian life in the areas of sports, culture, and humanitarian efforts. Among the awardees are Lifetime Achievement Broadcasting and Service to the Vincentian Community, Don Bob, Sports Hall of Fame inductees, Michael Findley for cricket, Peggy Ince Hall for netball, Mark Cordis Karate, and Sam DeBeek will be honored posthumously for soccer. Sports Merit Award, Nikhil Harry, American Football, and Nzinga Prescott Fencing. Culture, Winston Soso for Music Entertainment. Donna Weeks for Fashion Inns the Primus Cultural Promotions, Gordon Don Sutherland Musician, and Godfrey Cherry Inns Music Production. Humanitarian Efforts, Ruby Wood, Lavon Monroe, and SVG Organization of Pennsylvania. According to the organization, the objectives of the Heritage Awards are to recognize Vincentians who have made sterling contributions to SVG or its diaspora in the USA, to motivate and inspire Vincentians to continuously strive for excellence, to document the legacies of the Vincentian diaspora in the USA and to promote unity among Vincentians in the diaspora to strengthen the cohesiveness of the Vincentian diaspora.